Good afternoon. We're down in Dromore Co Down. We're in the market square, and there's a bit of building work going on behind us, so I hope you can hear this. This is the market square in Dromore, and this is and was the hub of all activity, where people came to buy and sell farm animals and produce. This place was a hive of activity in the early 1900s, and you can see the names of the typical Dromore names, and round the side here is the War Memorial. We're moving on round. This was the marketplace in the centre of Dromore.
That was you at that cart, was it?
That's what you're joking.
Very nasty.
Right, keep her running. This was the market house in the centre of the village here. And there's the War Memorial set in front of us there. Quite a number of guys went off to war in the Great War, World War I, and their names are marked on the memorial. And in the Second World War they're also marked. Massive sacrifice from this area. And if you look down some of the names there, these are typical Dromore names, Gracie in particular. And then quite a number of guys in the Second World War. Dromore today is a commuter town largely. It's a dormitory town for Belfast. A lot of people live around here and they travel to Belfast for their daily work. One of the shops that I well remember here is Graham's, and you might remember it too because it sells ice cream. And whenever we were coming home from Belfast, the bus would always stop at this just outside Graham's, and you'd hop in and you'd get an ice cream. So this is Dromore. How many souls live here today? Probably about 8,000. But it started off as very much a linen town, and it was a crossing point over the Lagan as well. What else is it noteworthy for? Well, it's noteworthy for the Motte and Bailey built by John de Courcy in the 1100s. John de Courcy changed the landscape of the eastern counties of Ulster by building Mottes and Baileys all over the place, and indeed castles, Norman castles like Carrickfergus. And his wife changed the landscape as well because she built abbeys and prairies. So he and his wife, unbelievable characters, changing the history of and making the history of places like Dromore. What else is Dromore famous for? Well, it's famous for its viaduct and railway station. We'll just go around and see the notice board about that. A good railway station in Dromore, and it ran from 1863 through to 1956. And this building here that you see in the picture is today up. What's the name of the street? Church Street. I'm talking to Peter here, who's
the big building
that's still standing there. So we'll maybe take a wee run up and have a look at that. And next door we see this a picture of the viaduct, which we're going to film as well. And it was designed by Thomas Jackson, situated in Dromore Town Park and visible from the A1 and the 7. So it's all up this direction of the town. What do we see what else it tells you here? The viaduct consists of 7 wide brick-built arches on tall tapered stone pylons, designed and distinguished by distinguished architect Thomas Jackson. The viaduct carried the Banbridge, Lisburn and Belfast Railway. Thomas Jackson designed the nearby station house, which is estimated to have cost £1,705. And it's still standing. It must have been well built. And the railway closed in 1956, and that was a shame and disgrace. But there you go. And these are the famous Dromore stocks, still here after all these years. And these stocks, I believe, according to my information, stocks were here, placed here in 1805. And this is all the information about them up here. A rare surviving example of their kind, the famous Dromore stocks provide a fascinating demonstration of medieval society's approach to punishing offenders. So we think that these were placed here in 1805, but they might have been somewhere else previously, I'm not too sure. And the idea was, if I can get up, that if you were placed in the stocks, you would have to sit for the length of your sentence in here, and people passing by were at liberty to throw tomatoes and cabbages and maybe even worse, and splatter you for maybe stealing or poaching or whatever it happened to be. The stocks in Dromore, I think they only lasted about 21 years in use, and then they were the punishment by stocks was removed in England. So whether it remained being used in Dromore is anybody's guess. We're standing actually in front of the market house, and the market house, this is a new market house, but the previous market house dates from 1788, and it was described in the Complete Irish Traveller, but this is a new version. This is the very famous market house in Dromore, and if you could home in on the clock and the plaque down below, because that's quite significant. How do I see what it says? It says, presented to the inhabitants of Dromore by William Can Hearn, J.P. Maryfield, Hollywood, County Down, and he, the Can Hearn Hospital. Right, we've just come out of Dromore, maybe a couple of 100 yards outside Dromore, and this is Dromore Motte or Mound, or Motte and Bailey. Various names for it. It was actually called a Motte and Bailey or encampment. There was an earlier earthwork in Dromore known as Priest's Mound on Rainbow Hill, but we haven't discovered it. But this one here was built by the forces of John de Courcy in the 1100s, and it's quite a substantial construction. I have never been here before. So there's an outer channel here that was filled with water, and then there was this mound here, and then there's a further channel here that was filled with water as well. So there were a number of defences that you had to overcome if you were going to attack this. Water defences and these extensive mounds, and this must have been quite a construction in its day. And as I say, built by John de Courcy, and this region of in round Dromore and the eastern counties of Ulster were under Norman control, Anglo-Norman control, for approximately 200 years.
Hello. Oh,
All right. We've just come out onto the other side of Dromore, and this is the Lagan River running underneath the main road from Belfast, heading down to Banbridge and beyond. And you can see some of the history of Dromore and surrounding areas portrayed by local youngsters in these tiles. You can see Carrickfergus's tractor and the matchless motorbike that he was involved in. And then going further back, you can see de Courcy's archers. And then you can see the wildlife depicted here. You can see the emphasis on linen. There are some linen houses just further along the road there. There's a loom. And then livestock, emphasising the importance of agriculture. And then this was also a church centre, an ecclesiastical centre. So here we have some of the local churches represented and the war memorial up at the top. And then various pastimes represented. So this in front of us is Dromore Viaduct. And this viaduct took the trains running from Belfast through to the Banbridge and Newcastle beyond. And this viaduct was built, I think it was 1860, and a guy called Thomas Jackson was responsible for that.
and this is the Lagon River and the waterfall just on the edge of the town in the park. I noticed one or two rises, so there must be plenty of fish about as well.
Was based around a number of linen mills, and this was one here. And if you notice the old brickwork of the mill, and further along, these terrace houses just along the roadside here are historic because these were mill workers' houses, and they've stood the test of time. And I was brought up in a house like this in Banbridge.